Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another week of Imaginary Creatures. Well, we are well into spring, and the summer has been the spring weather has been fantastic. I hope you have really gotten out into it and enjoyed the weather and had a really good time playing outside. I don't live too far away from Juanita Beach, and I have really heard and seen a lot of people out there enjoying the weather. So I hope you've had a lot of good time enjoying the outside weather too. And during the spring, we have started to see a lot of beautiful trees with different colored leaves come out. And of course, you've seen a lot of flowers start to bud too. I don't know if you've been going to different shops where you can get different flowers and plant them in your yards or put them in pots. And it's always fun to see the different kinds of flowers come out. Well, this week, we're going to hear about a legend about a certain kind of flower that grows in Wyoming and Texas. And it's really an interesting kind of flower. It comes in lots of different colors. And how did that flower come to be? And how did it get all these different colors? Well, as we've talked during the year, we know that this is just the perfect kind of story for a legend to be told, right? And there is, in fact, an Indian legend that is told about how this flower came about. So hang on as I get ready to read this story to you about what's called this beautiful flower called the Indian paintbrush. And afterwards, make sure you look down below because I'm putting in two different links about how you can paint your own Indian paintbrush flower. And there's two different ways to do it. So hang on and take a look. One of them is using just watercolors or acrylic paints to do it, which is really fun. And the other way, I think you'll enjoy doing it, is using your fingers and doing it with finger paint. And then, of course, a way that I didn't put in, but I think would be really fun to do it, is just by doing it with markers, colored markers. And I think you could represent the Indian paintbrush flowers just really well with markers. So I hope that you will take the opportunity to do some Indian paintbrush flowers at the end and send me and send all of us some pictures of those in our discussion page. Okay, let me get into the story and share it with you. And here we go. This is called, it takes a minute to appear, just like magic. Look at that. The Legend of the Indian Paintbrush, retold and illustrated by Tommy DePaola. Many years ago, when the people traveled the plains and lived in a circle of teepees, there was a boy who was smaller than the rest of the children in the tribe. No matter how hard he tried, he couldn't keep up with the other boys, who were always riding and running and shooting their bows and wrestling to prove their strength. Sometimes his mother and father worried for him. See all the other boys playing differently. But the boy, who was called Little Gopher, was not without a gift of his own. From an early age, he made toy warriors from scraps of leather and pieces of wood. And he loved to decorate smooth stones with the red juices from berries he found in the hills. The wise shaman of the tribe understood that Little Gopher had a gift that was special. Do not struggle, little gopher. Your path will not be the same as the others. They will grow up to be warriors. Your place among the people will be remembered for a different reason. And in a few years, when little Gopher was older, he went out to the hills alone to think about becoming a man. for this was the custom of the tribe. And it was there that a dream vision came to him. The sky was filled with clouds, and out of them came a young Indian maiden and an old grandfather. She carried a rolled up animal skin, and he carried a brush made of fine animal hairs and pots of paint. The grandfather spoke. My son, these are the tools by which you shall become great among your people. You will paint pictures of the deeds of the warriors and the visions of the shaman, and the people shall see them and remember them forever. The maiden unrolled a pure white buckskin and placed it on the ground. Find a buckskin as white as this, she told him. Keep it, and one day you will paint a picture that is as pure as the colors in the evening sky. And as she finished speaking, the clouds cleared and a sunset of great beauty filled the sky. Little Gopher looked up at the white buckskin, and on it he saw colors as bright and beautiful as those made by the setting sun. Then the sun glowed and sank behind the hills, and the sky grew dark, and the dream vision was over. Little Gopher returned to the circle of his people. The next day, he began to make soft brushes from the hairs of different animals and stiff brushes from the hair of the horses' tails. He gathered berries and flowers and rocks of different colors and crushed them to make his paints. That's the way they used to make paints a long time ago. You didn't get them out of tubes, you made them from berries and flowers. He collected the skins of animals which the warriors brought home from their hunts. He stretched the skins on wooden frames and pulled them until they were tight. And he began to paint pictures of great hunts. So he told the stories of their history, of great deeds, and of the dream visions, so that the people would always remember. Didn't he have a wonderful gift? These were important things that he was doing, wasn't it? Just as important as what the other boys grew up to do. One might say even just more important. But even as he painted, Little Gopher sometimes longed to put aside his brushes and ride out with the warriors, but always he remembered the dream vision, and he did not go with them. So he remembered his purpose and his calling in life, didn't he? That's important, to follow what you believe your purpose and calling is in life. And that's what he was doing. Many months he had ago, he had found his pure white buckskin, but it remained empty because he could not find the colors of the sunset. He used the brightest flowers and the reddest berries and the deepest purples from the rocks, and still his paintings never satisfied him. They looked dull and dark. So no matter what he picked, it didn't turn out looking what he had seen in his vision from the sunset. So he didn't want to use his purest white canvas, his buckskin. He began to go to the top of a hill each evening and look at the colors as they filled the sky to try and understand how to make them. He longed to share the beauty of his dream vision with the people. But he never gave up trying. And every morning when he awoke, he took out his brushes and his pots of paints and he created the stones of the people with the stories of the people with the tools he had. So he was persistent, wasn't he? He kept trying. That's a wonderful quality to have, persistence. One night as he lay awake, he heard a voice calling to him. Because you have been faithful to the people and true to your gift, you shall find the colors you are seeking. Tomorrow, take the white buckskin and go to the place where you watch the sun in the evening. There on the ground, you will find what you need. The next evening, as the sun began to go down, Little Gopher put aside his brushes and went to the top of the hill. As the colors of the sunset spread across the sky, and there on the ground all around him were brushes filled with paint, each one a color of the sunset. Little Gopher began to paint quickly and surely, using one brush and then another. Look at all those different colors, just sitting in the ground waiting for him to use them. And as the colors in the sky began to fade, Little Gopher gazed at the white buckskin and he was happy. He had found the colors of the sunset. He carried his painting down to the circle of the people, leaving the brushes on the hillside. And the next day, when the people awoke, the hill was ablaze with color, for the brushes had taken root in the earth and multiplied into plants of brilliant reds and oranges and yellows. And every spring from that time, the hills and the meadows burst into bloom. And every spring, the people danced and sang praises of Little Gopher, who had painted for the people. And the people no longer called him Little Gopher, but he who brought the sunset to earth. Isn't that a lovely story? And so here is one artist's picture of what an Indian paintbrush plant looks like, but I thought you might like to see what real Indian paintbrush plants look like. So I'm going to share the screen with you here and show you what they look like. Let's see, let me do that again. Loading. Oh, I don't want to do that. So here are pictures of real Indian paintbrush, and you will see just how beautiful they are. And I put them in order of the colors of a rainbow because you'll see that they really do fit in the colors of a rainbow. You can remember the colors of a rainbow because they spell out Roy G. Biv. Roy G. Biv as if it's a person's name. And so I kind of put them in that order so you could see that they do have colors of the spectrum of a rainbow, except for G for green. But you can see that there's a lot of green on each one of these plants. So there's a beautiful red Indian paintbrush. And here's an orange one and a yellow one. Aren't they spectacular? They're just beautiful, aren't they? And here's the next ones in a rainbow are blue and indigo. I sort of put those together because it looks like it could be kind of either one. And then here's a violet one. And you'll notice as we go along that they also, if you look them up on Google and just type in Indian paintbrush, you'll see too that they have all sorts of different shapes to them. So they can be quite a different shape. Do you see this one that's sort of purplish looking? And some of them look a little more purple than others. But do you see how this has quite a different petal to it than some other ones? So there's quite a lot of variety in the shapes of the petals as well as the colors. And here you can see that that is a different one too. So now I just picked out, now we've been through the rainbow colors. So I just picked out some ones too that are just different colors and kind of combinations of colors, because I think that's quite interesting too. So you could see if they were all on a hillside, how spectacular this would look. And these are quite pointy looking, aren't they? And they have a little bit of yellow in them. And then they do actually have white ones. This one I know looks a little bit yellowish, but you can go online and see that there are white ones too. And then these have kind of a combination, don't they, of multicolored. And so I thought you'd like to see that. And look at these. They're sort of red and yellow and a little bit of green and quite a number of colors. So when you're doing your finger painting, if you want to put like several colors overlapping, that would look like this, wouldn't it? So you could give that a try if you want to. So go online and you can take a look and see that there are quite a few different varieties of these and have fun with it. So again, there are 2 different links that you'll see down below of ways to paint Indian paintbrush. And of course, you could use whatever colors you want and have fun trying them out. And I hope that you have a great week and think about the legend of the Indian paintbrush and enjoy taking a look at how spectacular they are. Again, they're in Texas and Wyoming, and it's a fun legend of how they came to be. So have a great week, give it a try, and enjoy the spring. See you later. Bye-bye.